Heard the moving chair. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by CP2080. When my father-in-law passed away, my husband and I experienced a lot of paranormal, if you believe that, activity. I'm not sure if this is considered a glitch or something else. At the time we lived in a quiet apartment. We normally couldn't hear our neighbors at all. And we lived on the top floor, so we only had a neighbor below us and one next to us, but our walls weren't connected. My father-in-law had cancer, and with his medication his legs became swollen and it was hard for him to move them. My husband and I would always go to his house and play cards at the kitchen table, and every time he could get up from his chair it would make this horrible, extremely loud chair moving across the floor noise. We got so used to the sound and would even laugh about how his neighbors had to hear it every time he gets up. He passed away, and a week later my husband and I were sound asleep in our apartment and heard his chair noise in our kitchen, which was right outside our bedroom door. Clear as day, it woke us both up. We lay in bed quietly for a few minutes and heard it again, like he got up, sat down, then got up again. I turned to my husband completely terrified and was about to say something to him, and he cut me off and said, "Yeah, that's the noise." I would brush it off and say it was something outside or a neighbor or something, I don't know. I know it wasn't. There was absolutely no mistaking the noise. Do you ever get this weird and unexplainable feeling? Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Elf Demon. Do you ever get this weird, eerie, absolutely unexplainable feeling while thinking about certain things, such as the universe, reality, or dreams? I honestly have no idea how to explain this emotion, so I'll just spew out some words that relate to it and are things that give me this feeling. The ever-expanding universe. What's beyond the universe? Reality. What makes reality real? Are we real? Dreams. What are dreams? What makes dreams not real? Deja vu. Nostalgia. So I think you get the gist of it. It's the most difficult feeling to explain ever, so all I can really do is just vomit out words and phrases that relate to it. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about? Does anybody else get this weird, odd, eerie, strange, and unexplainable feeling while thinking about these certain things? If so, then is there anyone out there who can actually explain it and put it into words properly? Because I sure can't. Is there a word for this emotion? Just two more words that I think sort of relate to this that I want to throw out are loneliness and emptiness. Derealization and depersonalization also relate to this, if any of you know what that is. Certain sceneries and music also give me this feeling. So yeah, are there people who experience this emotion, or do I just sound absolutely crazy? P.S. I found something to use an example of something that gives me this feeling. Recently a demo for Final Fantasy XV came out, and there's this one part after you defeat the boss where it becomes all quiet and calm. You're in a massive empty city and this really eerie music is playing. Both the city and the music give me this weird, unexplainable feeling. This demo takes place within a dream too, which makes that feeling even stronger. Glitched with a coworker today. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Kellyanne. I'm going to preface this by saying I work in a call center, and it's very rare that I finish a call at the exact time that I get off. I was finishing up a call today, noticed the time, and thought to myself, sweet, time to clock out. I started going through the motions of clocking out, but when the timekeeping window launched, I realized I was an hour too early. I laughed it off and look over to a coworker to tell her how dumb I am for almost clocking out. She looks at me for a second and says, "I did clock out, it's 4. I double check at this point, convinced that I've made some kind of mistake, and it's still only 3. We were both convinced that it was time to go. Phone line intercept? Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Eho. Happened a good amount of years back. Me and my wife were a long distance in the beginning of our relationship and used phone cards prior to our calls. Usually after using the phone card and dialing the number, you would hear 3 rings prior to the actual ring of their phone before they picked up. One night, while using the same phone card to place my call, instead of the 3 initial rings, I heard an unusual 4th. Shortly after, I was listening to a random conversation between a random man and a woman whose voices are unbeknownst to me. The context of the conversation sounded like the man picked up the girl's phone number from a bar and was chatting her up for a date. I would also infer the man used a payphone instead of a house or cell. The whole time, I didn't speak a word until their conversation ended. It never happened again since using the phone cards afterwards. Word glitch or common occurrence with phone lines and phone cards. Hope this fits here. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Of Heaven Nor Hell. When I was very young, the strangest thing happened to me. It was after my dad died, and after I started school. So I'll say this happened when I was 4 through 7. I had a dream that I was staring up from underneath a table to a person on my left. I could only see from the waist up and could only make out the back and side of this person's head. Their skin was tan, and their hair was jet black, in the style of what I, many years later, would come to understand as a mullet. This happened when I was around 4 years old, so around 6 or 7, when I was in the 1st grade, I met this kid named Chris. He was Korean and we became instant friends. One day when all of us kids went to lunch, Chris and I sat next to each other. I don't remember what it was, but I dropped something from my tray onto the floor and bent down to pick it up. Looking back up towards Chris, it hit me. I've dreamt this before. Tan skin, black hair, and mullet. This was the 90s, so yes, mullet. Strange. Disappearing and reappearing glove. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Tacky Tick. This happened about 2 months ago. About 3 months ago, I took my mom grocery shopping. After she had finished, she told me that she had lost one of her brown leather gloves and asked me to help her find it. I looked inside my car, under the car, about 50 feet to the left and right of the entrance and exit, and up and down all the aisles of the store. It's a small Asian grocery store. And my mom was super bummed that we couldn't find it. So she ended up buying herself a completely new, different pair of gloves. A month passed, and in that time I cleaned my car, under the seats and mats, not finding anything. Then one day, I was leaving to go to my boyfriend's house and turned around to put something in the back seat. Laying in plain view on the back seat was the missing glove. I couldn't believe it. So I took the glove in the house and matched it with its buddy. My mom throws nothing away. She dumps everything in a junk drawer, which is where the matching glove was. When I told my mom, she was ecstatic and incredulous because that glove was absolutely missing. Protein powder. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Apple Taros. So I had a big bag of whey protein powder sitting under my desk in my room. It's been in the same spot for months and I see it every day. I left for work at 3:30 p.m. yesterday and my mom gave me a ride, then ran some errands. Between 3:30 and 4:30, my dad arrived home from work and found the bag of protein powder sitting in my living room floor, picked it up, placed it on the table. My mom got home shortly after him. When I got home and saw it and complained to my parents for going through my room, they used to search for weed and such things, but now they're okay with it. Both of my parents insist they were not in my room. What's up here? Smashing Pumpkins. Weird Synchronicity Coincidences. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Alex989. Something weird happened to me these last 3 days, so I thought I would share. Monday night I had a dream I was driving and someone on the radio said, Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, had died. I hadn't listened to them in probably 5 years, so it seemed weird to me to dream that, but I figured dreams are usually random anyway. My day was normal yesterday, except now I had disarm stuck in my head all day because of the dream. I decided to check my Facebook later in the evening, and someone posted a link about Billy Corgan being the latest victim of an internet death hoax. Today I've been thinking about how odd of a coincidence that is that just an hour or two ago my local news announces that Smashing Pumpkins have canceled their concert because of the weather. Disappearing Towel, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Line to You. I'm glad I found other people with similar situations because this was seriously throwing me off. The other day I stepped out of the shower. My towel was on the ground, so I put it to the side so I could brush through my hair before I dried it. Don't ask, I'm weird. Anyway, I went to pick up the towel again, and it was gone. As in, totally missing. Not on the ground, not in the laundry bin, not anywhere. I ended up drying off with a different towel in the bathroom, but I still can't shake how weird that was. Strange glitch with a girl, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by OneShot444. So I was hanging around a friend's apartment, and I met her other friend who would stop by all the time. She was nice, nothing out of the ordinary. She was the type who would party all the way to the point of very old age. She was about 50 but kept her youth. She looked just like a party animal. Not particularly attractive, but not bad for her age. She gave a good vibe. At some point, I was just walking past her while eyeing her. I saw an image of a glorious goddess. Hard to explain, but she looked like an all-powerful yet all-good and loving goddess. Not like the Virgin Mary, but something out of the movies. It was glorious. I can't emphasize how glorious she looked. There was a lot of black coloring involved with the thick rolls of slicked back dreadlocks. These weren't your typical dreadlocks, they were perfect, like art. It was an upside-down V-shaped crown resting on her forehead and pointing up. The crown was all black with gold outlining in the top area. The face looked all-powerful yet loving. It looked happy and gorgeous while having the look of full-blown BA. She didn't look full of herself, but she knew she was BA with a twist of radiating love that was endless, unconventional type of love for all. And her face was utterly beautiful. I saw the shoulders and neck area, and it was mostly a black type of dress which made the look complete. Kind of what Angelina Jolie looked like in that recent Snow White movie, but more glorious. Anyways, it was kind of cool. The moment it happened, shivers went up my spine, but in a good way. Missing Socks, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Melanite. I don't care how many skeptics or rationalists try to explain away glitches as memory failures, brain spasms, or simple misunderstandings. I have an entire drawer filled with single, odd socks, many of which I don't even recognize, which proves that we, as humans, still don't have a clear grasp on the workings of the universe or multiverse. I've had some pretty shocking glitch experiences in my life, but none can so succinctly sum up the entire glitch thing like my odd sock drawer can. Please don't think I'm joking or making light of the glitch issue. I'm not. I'm being deadly serious. Science requires that a phenomenon be repeatable in order for it to be verified and quantified. If there were only one experiment to prove or disprove glitches in the Matrix, then it would be the missing sock phenomenon. I guarantee that mine is not the only sock drawer here that acts like a black hole in the fabric of normality. My mother called me, but she didn't. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Tawanashaka. My landline, yes, I still have one, rang the other day and my mom's number popped up on the caller ID. She usually only tries the landline if I don't answer my cell. I answered, but no one was there. So I called her back and asked why she called. She was totally confused and said she never called and there's no record of the call on her phone. She hadn't even touched her phone. I've heard of calls registering false calls, and she is on my cell plan, but this was the landline that I hadn't used to call her in forever since it doesn't have a good long-lasting distance plan. That phone basically sits on the wall and collects dust since it's part of our DSL package. Getting to the bottom, no pun intended, of this falling down the stairs phenomenon, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by In Memories We Trust. I've been researching this online for a good while now, and it seems as though many people remember falling or floating down the stairs as a child. This seems too specific to be just a general memory. I don't have an answer, but what I can at least give is my personal account of this. In my case, it was falling more so than floating. I remember standing at the top of the stairs when for some reason I tried to jump down to the bottom. The basement in my house has about a dozen steps going down. The material of the stairs was a tad harder than carpet, and I was no older than 8 years old at the time, so the resulting fall would have surely brought me some sort of major injury. At least an injury severe enough for my parents to have remembered. But years later, asking them about the fall, they never even recall it happening. What I remember the most vividly about the whole occurrence were the sensations I felt on the way down. Repeatedly I tumbled over and over, yet my head didn't actually feel like it was hitting anything. Even though I was tumbling, I still had the sensation of floating. On top of this, my vision had a sort of white aura around it. I could see the steps on the way down, but they were so surrounded by this aura that they were almost a total blur. From what I remember, this sensation went on much longer than a few seconds. It would really take to fall down my basement steps. It went on for at least 20 seconds. What happened afterwards is still really fuzzy to me. The most I can remember is being a little lightheaded afterwards, but I couldn't tell you exactly what occurred after the fall. The fact I returned unscathed and am the only one who remembers this event in my family is daunting. These are countless threads of people with similar experiences you can find with a simple Google search. Many theories have been presented on other forums such as guardian angels and lucid dreams, but for people like myself who are confident in these events and their truthfulness, such suggestions can seem far-fetched, yet they can't be ruled out either. I'm making this post not only to share my account, but also to see how many readers here remember this experience. Thanks for reading. Song lasted far longer than it should have. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Quino Caffeine. This happened about 2 hours ago in my mother's car as we were driving to a shop. We were listening to a radio station based in the UK called Absolute Radio, and as we came near the shop, a song called Nothing in My Way by a band called Keane came on. We were both chatting about how much we like Keane and how we hadn't heard the song in ages and stuff. Basically, my mom gets out of the car to go in the shop, but when turning the engine off, the radio goes off too in her car. I sat waiting for her in silence, nothing unusual. She comes back and chats on the phone for a while, all with the radio off. I would say this whole thing would have taken about 10 minutes, or maybe even a bit more. As she started up the engine again, the radio came on, and we heard the end of the song, followed by the guy on the radio telling us, and that was Nothing in My Way by Keane. Me and my mom look at each other like, what the heck, because we didn't change the radio station. The song is only supposed to last like 4 minutes, and it had been in the middle of the song when we turned the radio off. It wasn't a CD, and as far as I know, it's not possible to pause or rewind live radio. Well, on the system in the car anyway, it's fairly odd. I'm not sure if there's a logical explanation for this, and if it's just something very simple that I'm missing, but I've asked almost everyone I know about it. and they're all as confused as I am. It's as though time just didn't exist for those few minutes. Saw my living friend's ghost appear in my bedroom. Posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Sierra and Diesel. This happened many years ago when I was about 9 years of age, but I remember every detail vividly, as it was so shocking. I'll try to keep this story short. It was a regular night, nothing out of the ordinary, and I was asleep in my bed. I woke in the middle of the night, I'm guessing about 1 or 2 a.m., which I often did as a child, and sat up slightly. I looked over at my bedroom door, which was open, and saw my good friend standing there, friend since birth, holding hands with her younger brother. The two were looking at me smiling, and seemed happy to be there, as if this late-night visit was totally normal. My friend was wearing a period-style dress, and her brother a suit. At the time, I'd never seen them in such clothing. To make it stranger, the two appeared totally white and translucent, like the classic ghost appearance. As a child, this scared the crap out of me, so I immediately jumped out of bed and made a run for my parents' room. As I ran between my friend and her brother, I pushed them aside by the shoulders, and in so doing felt resistance as if they were solid. Here's where it gets weirder. I kept the story to myself and passed it off as a dream. I didn't mention it to my friend until 7 years later when I was 16. The reason I mentioned it to her this time was because she told me she had a really vivid dream where she visited me in her sleep when she was 9. We were the same age, 1 week apart. I asked, "Were you wearing an old dress, almost Victorian style, during this dream?" She said yes, an old dress my aunt gave me, which she wore while making her first communion. "I think I have a picture of me in the dress somewhere," she continued. My friend took a stepladder and reached into the back of a tall cupboard in her room and pulled out a box of trinkets and memorabilia. In the box, she took out a photograph from when she was younger wearing her aunt's old dress. To my shock, it was indeed the exact same dress she was wearing when she visited me that night. I certainly cannot explain that night, but I remember as if it happened yesterday, because it was so unusual. I only found the subreddit recently and thought I'd share the story and try to get insight. Both my friend and her brother are alive and well to this day, and we still hang out. It's just something we accepted and guess happened because we're so close and we were kids. I read that kids are more open and prone to this kind of thing. Shared dreams with 2 of my friends, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by Yoshi HD. When I was 11, me and my friends used to talk about dreams we had. No idea why, sometimes they'd be really funny. One time we were talking about that, I mentioned a dream I had. The dream was about a large meteorite falling into my street. Me and my mom went into the bath and tried to hide. When I told them about it, my friends got pretty scared. Both of them also had a dream where a meteorite fell onto our street. We were pretty creeped out, as there was no way that it could have been us dreaming about a movie or a recent event or some type of media influence. I'm still creeped out to this day, as 3 people dreaming the same thing is pretty rare. Late Night Dog goes on interdimensional adventure, posted in the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit by my DVDs. 4 summers ago, I was visiting my grandparents' house. They live in South End, St. Joseph, Missouri, directly across the street from St. James Church. You know, the one Kansas song, Bells of St. James? Anyway, we were visiting from Oregon, so there was a 2-hour time difference. I'm already a night person, and I never adjusted to the time difference, so I was up later in the night, waking up later in the morning than everyone else. They're a pretty old couple, and didn't seem to have Wi-Fi, so We had lots of books from the library to read. I was up late one warm Missouri night on the porch reading around midnight. A headlamp strapped to my head, reading some stupid young adult novel about somebody with superpowers or something. I hear a clickety-clack coming down from the left of the street right towards me. It's a smaller dog with fur kind of stringy, just walking around at midnight having a goof, I presume. I'm not about to go down the stairs and check out a South End dog at midnight, but I think it had a collar on it. I'm intrigued, so I put the book down and watch this dog go on his way. He's not really walking with a purpose to get somewhere, but he's also sniffing around. Just trotting along. He passes in front of me and continues to the right. I see the dog turn behind a wall, and there are stairs leading to the parking lot of the church we live next to, which would then lead up to the porch I'm on. I'm like, oh crap, the dog is coming for me, and I wait nervously for the dog to appear at the top of the stairs, but never does. I couldn't hear claws clickety-clacking anymore, as if the dog is just gone. Time probably felt longer because I was waiting anxiously to see the dog come up, but I waited for around 10 minutes, eventually went back to my book, occasionally glancing back to the top of the stairs on my right to see if I could get any clue of where the dog went. 25 minutes later, I hear the all-too-familiar clickety-clacking coming from the left side of the street. The same dog comes into view walking the same path with the same not hurried but exploring trot. I quickly pack up my things and blast indoors before I get a chance to see if the dog, once again, blips out of existence. I head to bed, ready to not think about the dog adventure I just witnessed. I just asked my grandma the next day if their neighborhood has a stray dog problem. She says she's seen a couple around today, but none like the dog I described seeing. I don't mention that I saw it disappear and reappear, though. I've always wondered since then about what kind of interdimensional adventures that dog got up to. I would rule it out being a ghost dog, which is why it's in glitch and not paranormal. I didn't get a hair on the back of the neck feeling when witnessing the dog, only a later wiggled out feeling when I noticed it reappeared. Side note, I've been living with them for a few months now, which is why I remember the dog glitch, and how I can take a video of the location.